Do it.
All right. Good morning, everyone. We'll stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I didn't get my paper copy of my.
All right. Do we have any additions or changes to the agenda?
Not for me.
Anybody else? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Erica. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Barry. Do we have any further discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Okay, minutes from the last meeting, September 16th. Holy cow. Do we have any corrections to the minutes?
Nope.
I did not have any.
Neither did I.
I had just one.
Oh.
The administrators reported as works sessions.
How did I miss that?
Because I want to bring up work sessions.
What page is it on? 2.
Oh, yes, October works sessions for budgeting.
Wow, that's a good one. All right, do we have any other corrections or additions to the minutes? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Erica, do we have a second? Second by Phil. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Consent agenda. Do we have any items that anybody would like to pull out of the consent agenda?
Could I just ask a question? Trying to see if it's in the, I can't remember, is the baling machine in the consent?
Nope, it is not.
Okay,
We're learning from you what to put in and what not.
good.
It is not in the
Motion to
consent.
approve consent.
All right, motion by Barry, do we have a second to approve the consent agenda?
I'll second.
Second by Erica. Any more discussion?
Just
Yeah.
one thing in the consent agenda under the Becker County cash comparison. I mean, as you look at those numbers, I mean, the big one with road and bridge, I mean, we need to have some talk about, I mean, it was, last year was, August 24 was $4 million, and this year it's $3 million underwater. I mean, those things kind of should float to the top at, hey, what's going on here? Questions. So, and I know we got some big bills. I know they all come in at the end of the year, but those kind of things stand out to me. So I just wanted to make that point that we need to be looking at those things closer. Okay, that's all I got.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, motion carries. Commissioners, open forum. I don't believe anybody's on there. All right, reports and correspondence. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I had Becker County Extension just update. At our previous extension meeting, we had asked that the extension members go, while they're at attending the fair, look at the transit building to kind of assess what their thoughts were on moving extension out to the transit building. And the overwhelming consensus was the building would not fit, and their concern was that it would take a lot of money to get the building to where it would take, their concern was the amount of money that it would take to make the building fit for their programming. They also had concerns about accessibility and, making sure everybody knows there, which I think we can, with signage, that's not as much of an issue. But my concern also is that how much money are we going to put into that building to make it work for them to be out there? So
Less than what we would get for the sale of the current building.
if we would sell the current building, are you talking about the workshop?
No, I'm talking about the
The current
Extension
extension,
building.
the workshop, yeah. Well, I don't know. I
Well, I walked through that building at the fair and I thought it's a lot bigger than I thought. Than when we talked about it at our previous extension meeting. It's a lot bigger. And they could have an archery range in there and,
they said no.
well, I can guarantee you can have an archery range in there for the distances that they shoot at the
They could have an archery range.
15-yard range, is it? And you could probably take 2 stalls and make, so, I mean, I think the cost would be significant. I don't know, you would know that if it's a $50,000 or $100,000. I mean, I don't know what it would cost to make more of a meeting area where what the first bay is. But that's all you'd need, one more meeting area.
Mr. Chair, I always thought that, the community center over there would be a good location for what they're trying to do. I mean, they're trying to reach out to youth and kids, and I always thought that would be a good connection, but,
What community center?
Trail Lakes Community Center,
The DLCC.
Oh,
the LCCC over here.
well,
they did have space.
extension is more than just 4-H, but
I know that, but I mean, it's teaching, and that they always wanted a public location. This building did not work well for them, I was told. I thought that would be lots of traffic over there, maybe do some kind of a deal with the museum, something. Could that be a possibility? And I got the same answer that you did with this building. So, I mean, at some point.
I mean, it is
somebody's gonna have to make a
ultimately up to our board
Correct.
what to do, but I just wanted to make sure that that committee, I raised their concerns.
Well, the biggest concern or the biggest hurdle we have is we have to find a use for that transit building. We can't sell it. We can't, I mean.
Well, I think that's
So we don't want it
to be
sitting
spoken
empty.
to with the
Well,
fair
yeah.
board.
No. What's that?
I think that's a conversation to have with the fair board, because
I mean,
the
we
fair
could
board's
rent it
under
out,
the
but they
understanding
want,
it's going to be theirs.
well, they would like a use that complements the fair board. So whether it's a gift to them and they don't want to manage it. So what they would like is, I suppose, if we're not going to use it, we should be renting it out and then getting out of there the week of the fair. That's the only stipulation, that week of the fair, they'd have to use,
They'd have to-
whatever is in there would have
Yep.
to move out, so,
Yep,
but.
yep,
Keep working.
yep,
You know,
to be determined.
This could, we could put that on the way back burner, and if that move ever happens, it could be 2 to 5 years from now. I mean, we don't have to decide anything now, but I think what we have to look at, what's EDA, what's the goal of that building? What's the goal of transit building? Maybe we just look at transit, but put a 2-year lease on, rent it to someone for 2 years. You have to vacate it this week, maybe not the office space, but you have to vacate this part of it. But I think we have to get with the fair and we have to do something with it. And if we can get some revenue, if we're not going to do anything, then get some revenue off it and share it with the fair board. And
Yep, yep. Okay, other extension updates. They had summer programming this year. They had an intern that was the first that we've had I think it was the first intern that we've had since we've only had one 4-H educator. And through that, the 4-H program grew by 40 members, and they were able to make some more connections throughout the community. They also provided an update on the fair and how many people they had go down to the state fair. They had 2 people go down to the state horse show, 8 go to the state dog show, which I didn't realize that they had a state dog show, but 41 went to the state fair livestock exhibits, 18 went to the general exhibits, but they had 171 overall animal science exhibitors at the Becker County Fair. So there's that. And then I just wanted to cover a couple of things for the Master Gardeners. We got this flyer on the Becker County Master Gardener Volunteer Program with some statistics from 2024. So in 2024, there were 26 Master Gardeners that provided 1,368 volunteer hours, which reached 754 clients. Just some things that they do. They have the Meals on Wheels flowers, so they send flowers with all of the Meals on Wheels. They have a community garden, pumpkin days. They provide educational presentations, plant and pest clinic, answer garden questions. They have monthly library talks. They have a family resource fair, and they also go to the Becker County Fair. And I don't know those that were out there this year. They have the Grow Your Own Food display was what they had out there. So I think that, oh, and then just an update for the livestock auction. I believe Kevin said this was a record, but for the livestock auction, they raised $114,000. So it was $104,000 for the market auction, and then just a touch under 10,000 at the end when they do the donation. So I think that's pretty spectacular for a
And just
small
so you know,
community like ours.
I think it's 90% of the 4-H market auction goes back to the individual.
Yes.
And the 10% goes back to
The 4-H
advertising,
program.
breakfast.
Mhm.
Not the 4-H program. I think that goes to the
The donation, I think, goes to the 4-H
the
program.
donation,
Yes.
but the 10% goes to the livestock committee, which promotes and has that breakfast and
Yep.
some of the marketing stuff.
So pretty impressive.
I think it was a
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Jepson, do we have any numbers on the fair, like people, like attendance and stuff for the?
Yep.
They didn't talk about that.
Just that
Up, down?
it was down this
It was
year.
down, they didn't have, but they didn't have the number.
Yeah, I don't think we
They
had-
didn't give us the numbers yet, but it was down.
Yeah, it was
Remember.
down this year. But they had a lot of competition this year.
They,
for fair.
the Perham had a fair at the same time, and every like 7 years, the Perham and or the East Otter Tail Fair, which is in Perham, and the Becker County Fair are at the same time because of the scheduling of the rides. And that was another thing on the fair too, is the ride, they were short, what, 5 rides?
Yeah, they didn't, they were supposed to have more rides,
Yeah.
but they didn't because, again, the Midway was double booked. They had one
Yeah.
in Perham and they were supposed to bring additional ones, but then didn't.
And what those guys do, those people that do the rides, the companies, they share each other's rides. They like lease them from each other. So he was supposed to have 3 come, and he got 1,
what-
I think, yeah.
Like, what is an average number of fair attendants and what do we have this year?
I don't know that we were given the
We weren't
attendance
given the
numbers.
numbers,
I
yeah.
don't
You
know
said
that
it's
they,
down from what, how?
the
how
revenue,
do you know?
The revenue was
revenue was
down.
down. Yeah.
And the attendance was down in the grandstand area for the events, because there wasn't as many people.
Yep.
Yeah.
We did also have a lot of conversation
Yeah, that would be
about the demo
attendance and stuff.
derby this
Yeah.
year, and like, because there was the tragic event this year of,
Yeah.
what could be done differently, and so,
Yeah, so they're
hopefully
gonna
there
work
will be some
on,
changes.
on the safety portion of that. They're gonna revise some of the rules. They're gonna do more, they're gonna try to be more strict with, making sure when they come in, when they come into the gate and they check the stuff, they're going to make sure that, hey, you gotta fix this. Well, now they're gonna do some kind of card system or whatever, or ticket where you have to give that ticket now back to the judge, and then they'll look at it again to make sure that you change what we told you had to change. Because they're probably, some of those people probably aren't changing some of those things, and then they're just gonna, some of the drivers are gonna help them with the rules, and they're also gonna try to increase the prize money so that more people will register for the derbies. And then the drivers that came in to talk to them also said that if you do that, then it's very realistic that you should raise the price of the entry fee too. So I think they'll get it figured out. I think it'll work. Because to be honest with you, the reason why the fair is doing as well as the fair is doing is because of the Friday and Saturday derbies. That's where they
Yep.
make money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't want to not have the derby,
No.
because the
I
derby.
mean, obviously, there's way more other things at the fair than just that, but
Mm-hmm.
that supplements everything else at the fair. So they can do all those other things.
Mr. Chair, could I just request, I mean, I have no concept of who
Yeah.
goes through the fair and what the revenue is. Could you guys pull those numbers for the last few years? Do they have them?
Yeah,
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 I
they-
think-
I'd just like to see.
yeah,
just,
we can do it.
We did tell them at
Revenue
the
and
last fair
numbers.
board that they need to come in and
Yeah,
and give a
and-
report. They haven't
Oh.
for the last couple of years. They
They-
did last year.
They
and
did it,
haven't
they
yet
haven't
this
done
year.
it this year yet, no.
Okay, perfect.
So we will request that they come in, and they know that too, so,
Okay.
yep. And then you can get all your questions answered.
Thank you.
Oh, no, he won't.
That wasn't a very nice job by him.
Then the only other, we all obviously had the Fair Board, also the only other meeting I think that I had was the EDA. We continue to have conversations about the housing contract. The recommendation was for the Housing Committee to go back and really get more of a breakdown of the costs, of a cost analysis of really what we're getting for MMCDC. We did look at what it would cost to bring in-house, and, we're looking at potentially three employees, which really it would be a wash. Like, we're not gonna likely save any money. Plus, we would need to also hire a maintenance person. So really, we're still going to continue to
We're
look at
looking
what.
it, But yeah, but they're not doing the best job there.
Correct.
And I was always thinking that we should just leave it the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it would not take a lot to do a better job.
Yeah, with the maintenance, we get paid, we pay those maintenance costs above and beyond our contract, and I think we're paying $65 an hour for that. So we could,
Well, that could, if we could piggyback that with a employee to do some other
Yep.
maintenance, Parks and Recs maintenance.
yep,
That we
and
need help with, that we budget part-time for that already, I think, or seasonal.
And I believe we determined that what we paid per hour in maintenance last year wouldn't be equivalent to a full-time maintenance person. So there is that, the other issue is where do we put them? And where, maybe we put them in the work.
Transit building?
Mr. Chair.
I mean, maybe,
Commissioner Jepson, when does our contract run up with MMC?
end of this year.
So calendar year?
Yep, yep.
And so we're gonna have a special meeting.
And we'll have to vote on that, right?
You're right.
If
Yep,
that-
the EDA approves it, makes a recommendation
Got it.
to the full board. So more to come, we'll see. We have a housing meeting coming up this Friday, where we'll discuss it more. So just a couple of housing updates. We have 32 people on our public housing waiting list. There are 2 homes, so they're working on getting them turned over and take a couple of them applicants off that waiting list. We currently have 53 families with vouchers, as well as 2 that are out there searching for house with 175 applicants on the waiting list. So 53 families currently getting the assistance, 2 have the voucher, are out searching for housing so that they can get it, and then 175 applicants on the waiting list waiting for their turn to come up, I guess. And then we have Maple Avenue Apartments. I believe we will have 1 tenant leaving there that will be vacated. As far as the RFP for the Maple Avenue project, it was determined at our last board meeting that we would wait until spring in hopes to get some more local bidders, that hopefully that will bring the cost down. And then we have the 12 units at West River Townhomes that we had, the 12 of the housing vouchers are allocated to that property. Just a reminder, they do receive case management services through Mahubi, but I believe there is currently 1 opening, but that they typically get filled up quite fast. So, and that's all I have for EDA. Anything else that you can think of, Richard?
No.
All right, that's all I have, I think. I might have more as we go, if I remember.
All right, who'd like to go next?
I was at MRC yesterday, and that's the annual business meeting, basically to decide what our top 3 priorities were to be for lobbying. A lot of discussion, but overwhelmingly, the technology updates for human services were our number 1. And they recommended that bring your legislators in to human services and show them the wheel of death, that spinning wheel that just,
SSIS.
yeah, SSIS, but there's also Maxis and MMIS that,
Maxis and MMIS don't have the spinning wheel of death
but
because
but
they're
they all
too
have
old
to, but they all have to,
have the spinning wheel of death.
the talk was they all have to be able to work together. And if that can happen, I mean, that needs to happen because with all the new requirements and workloads.
Especially for Maxis. You know, Maxis, I don't know if you know this, Barry, but you can't even use a mouse.
Mouth?
Mouse. Well, you can't use your mouth either, but you can't use a mouse. You have to actually
Really?
tab to get across the screen. It's that old.
Huh. But anyway, that was by far the number 1 priority. And that's, I think, AMC's number 1 priority. But with all these new, and I think that's, you know, they got what was it, 35 million last year towards that.
For
But, I mean,
SSIS.
that it just has to be done and done right. So that's
I think
that's the biggest push.
This is just me on my soapbox. I agree with you, but I also don't, rushing it can also cause more, knowing how other states have done it with the CWIS, rushing it can also end up costing a lot more money. I think that the biggest thing we need to remember with Minnesota, which they talked about at the AMC policy conference, is Minnesota likes to complicate policy. So when we have complicated policies, it's hard to get your technology to work with those complicated policies, which is really what some of the issue is.
Right. I just think we have to get the funding to start this because it's a couple year project. It's not.
Yep,
gonna
and
happen.
it started.
It's not anything that's going to happen quickly. But
Yep.
The second one was mental health bed for adult and juvenile, and then the third one was solid waste, construction and demo landfills. So that was the 3 priorities, and it, of course, you put a room full of that many commissioners in, it goes for a while without getting a whole lot done. But Lakeland mental health, very, have some. We're just at budget, which is, or just at 0. There's not a profit, but I mean, so we're looking at, Alex has been a kind of a negative point for us for a couple of years now. They haven't had cash flow for a while. I mean, they're in the red the last 2 years. This year, the road construction right in front of it was a major, major construction. So that was kind of where they're leaning on, but we're saying that has to change or something's going to change. And that's a really beautiful site down there. But one of the positives is Detroit Lakes. Our psychiatry in Detroit Lakes is up in the positive, which is a rarity. So Detroit Lakes is doing very well. And I think I've talked about some of those new things that they're doing with what's the term I'm looking for?
EMDR?
No. Anyway, with treating people with the post-traumatic shock.
PTSD?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's EMDR.
Is it?
Where they,
But anyway.
eye movement
Yeah,
desensitization?
yeah.
Yep.
And creating the event how you would have liked
Yep.
it to happen. And
Yep.
I guess that's really goes well. Other than that, I was at Sunnyside and we had an amazing year. It's just incredible how well they're doing for a small. We are just one of the gems in the state for a small nursing home, and I think that's leadership and staff that makes that. We also talked about, and I touched base with Mary. We have a loan with this county to pay for our building. We would like to probably pay that off. We have 2.8 million in reserves here at the county that the county manages and takes all the profits. We're paying a monthly payment. So we would we're looking at just paying that off and not having that monthly or quarterly. I don't even know if it's monthly or quarterly.
Semi-quarterly, I think it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, yeah, we just had our meeting and I talked to
From
Minnewaska,
Minnewaska.
and I asked him if there was any benefit for us to have a balance, is there any grants or anything? And he said, no, there wasn't. So we'll probably, and I don't think this board, I just want to make you aware that we're just going to probably pay that off and continue with the cash balance here, what's left.
Yep.
That'll help ease, because the requirements and some of the things coming up for nursing homes are not positive.
No,
They are
they're
just
not.
like
They're not going to be.
human services. They're not, there's some concerns in the future, so, but coming next year, there's a requirement for pay to be increased. The state.
For the staff?
Yeah, there's a minimum, the minimum wage has increased for the nursing home, so.
Yeah, we've pretty much, we got just one, only have one position.
There's a couple positions that need to
low.
be raised,
Raised
but
up.
we've been.
Proactive.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's, I think the CNA is 19, starting at 19.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
That's
crazy.
the lowest
That's
wage out there.
crazy.
Nurse,
That's
I think
a-
we're,
Considering what I started out as.
we were
Yeah.
low
Yeah.
in the kitchen, I think we're still low in.
Yeah,
But that, so, but anyway, very good report. Dave and I had the sheriff's committee. Most of it's on our agenda. We did move forward with the Tahoes. We expressed that we feel the Tahoe will carry us more mileage and further. We share the concerns that it's not just the vehicle, it's the equipment that has to be taken in and out
Yeah.
when you change vehicles. So we can, in my opinion, we can expect those to last longer. And then I think they agreed, but they're going to probably try to transition them out into other
Yeah.
areas of the law enforcement to use them for transit or.
Ones that aren't out on the road. type
Right.
yeah,
of-
like the jail ones are starting to be very expensive to operate, so they are going to replace those 3 vehicles with the,
We approved
Yeah.
also the traffic safety grant. We had a huge discussion
Yeah, we did.
on what that was, and that's basically just paying for overtime hours. It's not, and it's designated for different areas. And I stress that we don't want to burn our employees out for this either. We don't want them to work they're not mandated overtime hours, but if someone wants overtime hours, that's where they can get them. Anything else for sheriff? I think most of it's.
no,
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Nelson, where are we at with the new building or the storage building that we're renting from the city? We were that was a short-term fix till next July. What's happening there?
We didn't even touch base on that, or haven't
Well,
touched base on that a couple.
We don't want to continually rent that, right? That was a short-term gap to cover a year, and then we were going to come up with a plan, right, before next summer. What were we going to do?
I think the plan is to look at an impound lot and
Yeah.
storage building built.
These are why we have to have these work sessions, I think. It probably is a bigger question, but
I think
we need to solve that, right?
I think the question too, Carrie, maybe you can ask the city, what is their long-term plan with that building? How long can we be in that building, or that would make it a little bit more urgent decision-making or not?
Well, I think, in my opinion, it is urgent in that we're spending what we're spending for nothing other than storage when we could be potentially having our own building. That's, because what do we pay, 2,000 a month?
2,000, 24,000 a year.
yep.
So
But
it
I
makes
guess,
sense for us to make a decision on it.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, this is what we need to decide. We can't just keep kicking this can down the road. Carrie, can we put that on our road tour that we're going to talk about a little later? Because I'd like to see all that's,
the stop?
yeah, the
You mean
stop.
as on the highway road tour?
Yeah, I would
To
just,
see where
just
we
to
could
stop, because I want
potentially
to,
put,
well, I'd
the
like to
building.
see how it's operating and working. And
or to stop at the storage shed. Which do you mean?
over on 8th Street where we're renting, I want to stop at.
You want
the
to stop
facility.
there and look at it, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Do you have anything else, Barry?
We had a Laurel meeting, and Liz is here to discuss. She's on the agenda later, so we can talk about that later. I think that was it. Did we have?
All right.
NRM was up before that, so.
Yeah, I don't have anything on NRM, so I think, yeah, we already.
All right, Phil, if you.
Sure, Mr. Chair. So we had transit. We're looking at a $903,000 budget. Kevin, he really knows his numbers well and told me and Dave about some of the shortcomings with the state and federal dollars. So we asked Jim Joy to come in, and he sat down and met with us and listened to some of the complications with this transit. He's going to meet with the state and regional representative the third week of October. For now, we have reduced our routes and no Saturday pickup so we can meet the budget that they have given us for this year. So that's what's happened with transit. But hopefully something going forward can be resolved. Kevin does a good job, but his hands are tied in a lot of places. And Jim Joy heard that, and he's on transportation committee, so he's going to go back and hopefully we can get something resolved. Prairie Lakes, the incinerator, just talking about dryer fuel. Our tonnage was down this year. We need to get that back up. They know that. 24th, me and Erica had planning and zoning. And it'll be coming before us, another cannabis, not retail, but wholesale. Cultivation. And then I didn't know this, but you can be buried on your own property. We have a cemetery. You can do. I did not know that.
You got to be fenced, right?
You need a monument,
use
a
permit.
marker. So we're going to be asked to approve that too. And I was shocked that you can be buried anywhere on your own property. I didn't know you could even do that in Minnesota, but evidently you can. The last thing, solid waste environmental. So I don't know if you guys saw these in the packet.
Yep.
These sheets. This is the C&D, the construction and demolition study. It's 9 counties. We're doing a study on it. Richard is of the feeling that, let's just take care of our own. This is a regional study. If we can do better, I want to hear what they have to say. If we can do better as a regional group, I want to see if we can do better, and maybe that is the way to go. But we kind of disagree on that. Richard and I do.
There'd be more control from the Pollution Control Agency. They would have more control over our landfill. We would grow that. And probably more employees, more equipment. What is the benefit to us? And I can't see a benefit to us. It could be a benefit to somebody else, but to us, I don't see a benefit. And I don't want any more control from the Pollution Control Agency. I don't think we need that. And I'd have to see how it can be better for us, and I can't see that happening.
So just with that, and we've had several conversations about this, we are still doing the study, but it's going to come down to, what do we want to do? And it's going to come down to a vote. So I don't know if it's going to look like the Prairie Lakes thing. I have no clue. But they did this study, and I'd like you guys to fill this out and see what you think of this, and then get back to me and Richard so we can carry it forward. I mean, what these questions in here will inform how we move forward and how they put the study together. So right now, it's probably not that big of a deal, but we are going to be asked to vote on something that is a big deal next year. And so
Who are you talking, when you say we?
this is Stantec. These are the 9 counties. This is the survey they sent out to everybody. So I'm asking you guys to fill it out. I filled it out.
Is this survey, the survey is public information then to?
Yeah, it was in
for
there.
For
It's in the
Yeah.
packet.
for
But
Minnesota Pollution Control?
But I need to know, and Steve needs to know how we're going to present, where we're going to stand with this regional study. And Richard and I both we don't see quite eye to eye. So, I mean, and I don't disagree with a lot of things Richard says, but I want to go forward and see if there's a better way we can do this. He doesn't want more input from the MPCA. Well, to me, that's already happening. I don't know how we can get around that. But
Well, there would be more control from them. If we do this, they would have more control over our landfill, and I don't like the control they've got now.
I don't know if they'd have more control. They can exercise that. I mean, if they want to come in, they can come in anytime. They might have more, I can see if you have a larger facility, they might be on site or monitoring more, but I think the rules and the laws will be the same whether you're with a group.
Steve did mention more control. That's what he told us. I guess I'm not
Well,
sure.
we would be part of a group and we wouldn't be making our own decisions. It would be more of a
Yeah.
so yeah, he's right. But like the questions they ask, what's working well? You know, we've got a concrete, shingles, organics, recycling going. What isn't working well? Well, the sustainability. Eventually, we're going to run out of room. Now, remember, this isn't for municipal solid waste. This is only for construction and demolition, which we have a site up there where we are taking it in now. So I'm just saying, I don't want you guys to be surprised down the road when you're asked to make a big decision, because these things are happening at a very granular level, but they're going to elevate and they're going to be more important. So I will keep you informed as much as I can.
The changes coming along in environmental are huge. They are coming whether you like them or not. And I don't like some of them. I mean, I'm adamantly opposed to what some of the direction that some of the state lobby groups and some of the state legislators are looking. I mean, I mentioned they would like to close all the incinerators in the state, bar none. I mean, there's a group, I'm not saying it's majority, but that's the end goal of some. I mean, I think that's ridiculous. I mean, that's waste to energy. Now, if you didn't have the waste, that's the best solution. If you don't have waste, that's the best. But I mean, that's kind of a different than what this study is for. This is, but those changes are, I mean, it's significant, and reduction of waste is going to be, I mean, that's the solution, reduction of waste, but what do we do with the waste that we do have?
So I'd just like you guys to know that this is coming. If you want to take this little survey, get back to me so I can represent this group well to the regional group, to Stantec. They're the engineers doing this. That would be great.
So like question number 3, a path towards zero landfilling, it probably should read for demo and construction, right?
Well, it is only for
that's
construction and demolition. That's what this is for. But the first page is, what would you like? Well, everybody would like zero landfilling. The second page is, how much money are you willing to put towards it? Well,
Once you get to the money page, everything.
the money page, your numbers change a little bit, you know, so.
No,
All right.
we need to do something, because waste is getting more and more expensive, and like trucking it we're trucking it all the way to Grand Forks. So, you know, and I don't know how you would do it, but recycling, I hate to say it, would probably be, if we could somehow, we do have a recycling program, if we could do more of that.
Well, I wasn't
without
even aware
too much cost.
of the organics that you can put, like food contaminated
Pizza
boxes. Now, is that paper filament? Is that can you put that in there?
The wax paper, it depends on how, I
But-
asked Steve that, because it depends on how
The
thick it is.
The problem too with all of us is that we don't take the time to sort properly. Now you go to the blue bins and you look at some of the stuff, people, and it's like, seriously, people, if you're not going to do it right, it's better if you don't do it. I mean, if you just throw garbage in here, you're hurting us. So
yeah, and so there's an education thing, and we're talking about that, and somehow we need to educate the public on this, and hope that
Educating is one
maybe
thing.
cost has to go up to get rid of it. Maybe it's already going up.
Well,
we're going to be coming to you
the
for that too.
state has passed some laws that'll be in effect in the future, that some of the packaging has to change. I mean, it's ridiculous, and I catch myself buying individual packs of beef jerky, you know, those little, for the kids, you know, to bring to school, but there's like 3 chunks in this bag, you know, it's like, I'm like, seriously, why are we doing this? And when we were over in Sweden, you know, a couple of years ago, there, you know, go to the hotel rooms and their garbage is recycled, 2 recycle things, and then a garbage, and the garbage is like this big. I mean, they're just not.
We're behind times.
Well,
We're just a different
We
society.
can do better.
for people who do recycle, my wife is a big recycle person. It's amazing how small her garbage is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's probably the way that we have to start going that way.
The problem is people have to accept it.
Yeah.
If people aren't going to accept it, I mean, we have to change it like smoking in cars or I mean, society has to accept this change. And if they're not going to, we don't want burn barrels at every farm or every,
No.
rural resident. We can't go backwards. So, it's a gentle direction. It's not I just very cautious on trying to push too much on people.
So anyway, getting back to the C&D study, construction and demolition, I would appreciate if you guys would take that, get that back to me, and then tell me I mean, I know me and Richard are on the subcommittee, but if you guys have any input, please give it now. We also are doing another study to see if we can expand our solid waste facility. We need more on a tipping floor. We need to get we need to get it sprinkled. And we've included a few other things in there. We needed some additions to our MRF there. So we don't know. We're putting it together now. Then we're going to propose it. We've had Kupek and Joy out there to show what we want to do. The study isn't complete yet, but we would need state help to do that. But we need to be ready if something does come in that we can go forward with that. NRM, we talked briefly with NRM, and who's on NRM, Barry and who? Richard. So we talked, good, because we talked briefly about a mowing tractor.
Yeah.
So somehow this is going to be a collaboration between NRM and solid waste. I don't want that snuck through and someone thinks someone else is doing. I just want to hear more, but that got floated in our meetings. So I think it can be used for both, but let's just stay on top of that one. And then I didn't realize that October 15th was a deadline for solid waste assessment to change that. We are asking to change that a little bit. We'd go from like $60 to $68 on your solid waste assessment fee on your taxes, right, Mary? Is it $60 to $68?
Well, it's on points, but that would the average on the average house.
Correct.
I think is what you're talking about.
Correct. I wanted the dollar amount, but we'd go to 12 to 13 in points.
Yeah, it's 5 points, and then it'd be $2 a point, so it'll go up $10.
Mary, did you have anything to add to that?
Yes. Just a bit of finance, they had put 1350, which makes a lot of amount for every payment. So just to make it easier to balance, I recommended either $13 or $14. Let's keep it a flat dollar amount per point. And that's why it says on your finance minutes, full board discussion, right now it's 60, it would either go to 65 at
You're not,
13 or 70 at 14.
yeah, 13 or 14.
Okay, so 65. So it'd be 65 to go to 12 to 13 for the points. Okay, all right. I think that's what we'll get to that later. And also just Prairie Lakes, they went up with their costs, so we're going to have to be addressing tip fees, which are probably going to be bumping up a little bit too. We'll address that probably next month or at the next meeting. So it is what it is. Last thing, the e-waste recycling that we did the first few days of October had a couple hiccups, but for the most part it went well. We received, you can see it here. So it broke down. We had 138 screens over 27 inches and 615 screens under 27 inches. And then we had 473 keyboards, towers, mouse, all that kind of stuff. So I think it was a success. It's not in our ditch. We've got it out it was very well attended. We had some problems with checking out. There were 30 cars in line a few times. So it's a good problem to have. People used it, I guess is what I'm saying. So it was a good test run on the electronics. Hopefully we can be revenue neutral on this, so it isn't going to cost a lot by the time we transport it out, but we'll see that still.
That's good numbers.
Yeah, that was good. That's all I got.
One thing I wanted to say back to your transit, Phil, is one thing I think that's really important for us to consider moving forward is the act that's coming forward on 1/1/27, the Minnesota African American Family Preservation Child Welfare Disproportionality
Oh, you
Act.
say it just because you know it.
No, but this one of the big issues that is coming out of there is the need for transportation, because one of the things that comes with the act is the child welfare will be required to provide transportation. So I just think that that is another important thing for us to keep in mind as we're advocating for additional funding for transportation is the state is requiring us to do this for the act. I think we need to hold them to it for transportation also.
We do, and Kevin meeting with Jim Joy was a big thing, and he's meeting with the regional and state representative here.
Yep.
And that's a big deal because Kevin, he knows his numbers, he runs it really well, he tries to save money where he can. What was happening was the state and federal looking at his numbers say, oh, you don't need it here. He was trying to save it so we could put it in an account to buy our next bus, which we have a bus down right now. Well, they take it away from, they don't give it to him if he's doing a good job. They're rewarding people
That don't.
who aren't doing a good job. And to him, you know, he's like, why should I do a good job of managing this? So there's really some inconsistencies with the way that program is ran. But yeah.
And the transportation cost for the act is going to hit rural counties the most because, you know, you go to the more metro area, they have a robust transit system. They have a city bus that, you know, parents can take wherever they need to for visits and appointments, where here we don't.
Yeah.
So I think we can't be cutting down routes or we're cutting down routes when we should be adding them, you know, with the act coming about.
Kevin can
in
explain
27.
that very well to the state, and hopefully
Yep.
they hear.
Yep.
Yep,
So-
hopefully they listen, because, yeah, it's a problem. Richard?
Erica covered everything on EDA, but back to environmental, we were also talking about education and advertisement, and Sandy over there in the corner is going to maybe help us with that. And so that's where, as I think that's probably the key to
Yeah.
recycling is to somehow educate people and
I think educate and making it easier.
make it easier.
I mean,
And
that is, people aren't going to do it if it's,
so that's
takes more
something
work.
we are
Single stream.
going to be
And
working on.
that's,
yep.
So that's all I got.
I just got a couple, so I'll be quick. Barry covered sheriff, transit, I got one thing to add, just to that bus. We did have a bus that is, the engine, I don't know, went down. I don't know what that means. It does. So anyway, there's some issues with mileage and insurance company stuff, so but it'll get figured out. So right now, we are using our spare bus. We don't have a spare bus. And we're gonna go on our road tour, so we might want to figure that out. Because they probably aren't gonna have a bus. Maybe we can get a ride from the sheriff's department or something.
We could take a fair home.
But we don't want to go to jail. So anyway, I just brought that up. And then also I had at the Fair Board, there's one other thing that we, some of the Fair Board does a lot more than just put on the fair. They also help the community. So they are having a tractor pull for the Red River Valley Tractor Pull Association on June 13th. And all the proceeds are being donated to the Patriot Dog Program. So we, at our last Fair Board meeting, we had a couple members from that organization that came in to see if they could do this tractor pull, and they told them, well, how much does it cost, blah, blah, and then somebody made a motion on the Fair Board to donate the use of the grounds to that. So they do a lot of those things, the Fair Board does, and people don't always understand that they donate their facilities, they donate their time to all these organizations, nonprofits, church organizations. So they do good things like that, and it's important to them to do that. So I just wanted to put a plug out for that. And then we will get with Travis and Carla, and we'll get them coming here and then talk about revenues and talk about numbers at the fair and so forth, give us an update. And then I also had a DAC meeting. We did some improvements to the north end of our parking lot. And actually, we added to the north end of our parking lot. And we went out there and looked at it the other day, and we realized that part of the parking lot we didn't do is in really rough shape. So we're having another meeting next month, and we're gonna figure out what the process is for that. I mean, it probably won't happen until next spring, but anyway, the person that did the paving, did it very inexpensively because they have a client at our DAC, so I think it was right around cost, or maybe just a little bit more, just to pay the couple employees that did it, so that's a nice thing to have. And then Also, we received so that we talked, I think I talked about this last time, we received that grant from T-Mobile for the one that we supported for the calming swings and then the little recreation area that we're going to establish on the space that we have over there. Well, on the 25th, they presented one of those big fake checks to the DAC. So it was pretty cool event that was happening in the park in that park area by the pavilion and stuff. So it was actually a good deal. So that was good. And then also our executive director resigned on the 30th of September. So I just wanted to make sure, and we've sent out letters to all the clients stating that things are going to be good. Nothing's going to be affected by this. Our facility is run well by the three managers that are currently there. One of them has stepped up to be the interim director. So I just wanted to make sure that we say publicly that we are just fine. We're going to be great. She just felt like she needed to do something else. So we're going to be good. So just wanted to make sure that anybody that's listening to this knows that. And then the last thing I had a Lakes Country Service Co-op meeting, and there's just two things I want to talk about. The insurance, they are a provider for insurance, and their average rate is 18% increase. So we are at, we were at 8.5. So we're in good shape. That's a good thing, that problem to have. They are also probably about average, but they're a lot lower than some other provider organizations too. So that's it. Does anybody else have any other reports or correspondence? All right, let's move on to appointments. Are there any appointments?
Mr. Chair, we had a planning and zoning appointment, didn't we? Or is that still in the works?
That's still in the works, yeah.
Yep, still in the works. Hopefully we'll have it at our next meeting.
Okay.
All right.
What district is that from?
Fine, District
Okay.
1.
District 1. All right, so let's move on to our county administrator, and I see we have Liz Lynch from Lake Agassiz. Could you come up, Liz, and tell us who you are and tell us some information?
All right, well, thank you. Is this okay? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right, well, good morning, and thank you so much for letting me be here today to talk about Lake Agassiz Regional Library and to answer any questions that you might have regarding services, operations, and the budget request for 2026. So I'll just start out by mentioning Lake Agassiz Regional Library provides public library service in a 7-county service area. Within those 7 counties, we have we provide public library service in 22 communities. Even though we have 13 public libraries and 9 link sites, we really operate as one library. We have one collection of materials, one operating budget, and one set of policies that governs our system for maximum efficiency and effectiveness. In Becker County, we are proud to provide library service, of course, at the Detroit Lakes Public Library, which is our 2nd largest location, and in the communities of Cormorant, Frazee, and Lake Park through our link site model. Each link site has approximately 500 items for checkout by the public. They're open about 6 to 9 hours a week. They also provide access to a public computer, a printer, Wi-Fi, internet access, photocopier, and other basic office equipment. And that's all for public use. They are called link sites because they are a link to the larger regional library system. And through a requesting and delivery system, any materials, including books, Wi-Fi hotspots, DVDs, book discussion kits, and much more, are available for delivery and pickup at any link site. So we have a courier that actually travels around our region and stops at the link sites 1 time a week. As indicated in the handout on the screen, there are approximately 11,500 Becker County Library card holders. who have checked out over 130,000 items in 2024. Those are pretty robust numbers. And of course, the Detroit Lakes Public Library has an excellent reputation for providing a variety of events for people of all ages. They are literally providing events for our youngest customers at age 0 through age 100 and more. In addition, Lake Agassiz Regional Library provides community programming and events at all of our Becker County locations and link sites with funds received from the Minnesota Legislature through the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. The attendance at public events in the 4 Becker County locations in 2024 was over 13,000. The residents of Becker County love their local libraries and link sites and will tell you that public libraries are vital to the preservation of health, happiness, and quality in their communities. Regarding the Lake Agassiz Regional Library budget request, the Lake Agassiz Regional Library Board has kept signatory requests over the years steady yet reasonable. Unfortunately, that has resulted in an environment where frontline staff have been severely underpaid and positions have been very difficult to fill. The Lake Agassiz Regional Library Board has been working on increasing wages over the past 10 years or so, but have not kept close at all with keeping up with inflation. And in 2024, we did have a salary study that was conducted by Robert Bjorklund, which confirmed what we had thought. In 2024, we had union negotiations, and the Lake Agassiz Regional Library Board approved a significant increase to frontline staff for the years of 2025, 2026, and 2027. The most significant increase in pay to staff occurred this year in 2025 with a 10% increase, bringing wages up to $14.49 for library assistants and $17.81 for our librarians. Lake Agassiz Regional Library used reserves to cover this first year of cost, this largest increase, and we wanted to keep the signatory request low for 2025. But unfortunately, using reserves is not sustainable. As you can see from the Laurel budget request for 2026, we are requesting an additional $40,790. And the way in which we arrive at this number is by determining how much we need to operate. And this is to just maintain services. Next, we apply a formula that we call the 80-10-10 to determine how much we will ask for from each signatory. 80% is based on where the library cardholder resides. 10% is based on population, and 10% is based on property value. During this process, the City of Detroit Lakes' data is subtracted from the county data, so that the city is paying for those who reside within the city who are using the library services, and then the county is only responsible for those who reside outside the city limits who are using the library resources. According to the Joint Powers Agreement, if the budgetary request is not met, we would have to reduce hours in Becker County dollar for dollar. This, of course, is not a desirable outcome for Lake Agassiz Regional Library or for the residents of Becker County, but I would like to sincerely thank Becker County for your long-term investment in Lake Agassiz Regional Library as we continue to work together to support the information, education, and enrichment needs of the Becker County residents. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about the budget, services, or operations.
So for the library link sites that we have in Becker County,
Yep.
what are, or maybe it's the same for all link sites, but how often are they open and what are the hours?
Sure. So the hours vary. They're usually open a couple of days a week, and then they are open 6 and 7 hours. A couple of them are open 6 hours. Another one is open 7, I believe.
Okay.
So that's per week, 6
That's per
hours
week,
per
yeah.
week, 3 hours a day, 2 days a week.
Yep.
Cormorant is open 2 days a week, 7 hours total. How do
And-
you,
oh.
how do you, explain how you calculate which county and city pays what percentage of the increase of the signatory request?
Like I said, it's based on that 80-10-10 formula.
So why is Becker County paying a higher percentage than City of Moorhead?
Well, I can say I was looking at Becker County numbers versus Clay County numbers and was wondering why Becker County was paying more than Clay County. And the city of Moorhead is picking up the bulk of, they have the bulk of the population of Clay County. And so, and Becker County has, when you do the math, Becker County has more population than Clay County, once you subtract Moorhead.
My question specifically is what the percentage of change for this year, why
Oh.
Becker County's change is 9% and the City of Moorhead's is 5%.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can get back to you, Barry.
You don't have that answer?
No.
Because the City of Moorhead has increased hours that's included in this budget, correct?
Oh, correct, yes.
So how many, so part of their budget increase, so their percent change is including adding hours to their library,
Correct,
Sunday hours, correct?
yes.
So that brings their percentage of this increase probably under 5%. So their increase is under 5%. We're at what, 9%, 8, I don't know the math.
8.5%.
8.5%. So why is that? Why are those numbers different? I understand your funding formula for Becker County specifically, but why is that? Why are we at a higher percentage than other entities?
I'm just thinking of the formula that I've mentioned, working off of the previous year. I'm sorry that I don't understand your question.
Do you understand that Moorhead's the percentage increase when you subtract that is 5%?
Okay.
Do you understand that Becker County's increase is 8.5%? Is that, I mean, can you see the two, or why isn't every county and city's percent change the same?
Because of the way the formula is applied to the total revenue.
Okay, so you explain the formula specifically to the counties, so you're saying.
And the city as well.
So you're saying that formula goes Laurel-wide?
Yes.
District-wide?
Oh,
not-
yes,
Not
yes.
just specific county?
right. Correct.
What, you said in the formula that it's based on property value. What is one of the, why is that part of the formula?
That has just been a part of, those are the factors that have been worked with since,
I
for
think-
many years.
I think we're dealing with two different sets of formulas here. There's a formula that Laurel has to divvy out the increases. That's what Liz is talking about. There's also a formula that starts way back that sets the minimum standard and so there's two different formulas. And one got us high in our dollar amount because of values. But now we're getting hit percentage-wise because of the formula Lake Agassiz has to increase when they have a signatory requesting increase. We're getting hit harder because of the other formula escalated us up to a higher rate, which isn't fair. We're getting hit because of that. The Laurel's increases, which I'm sure the board members at the time thought this was a fair and equitable, but when we were escalated so high from the other formula, I don't think it's fair. I don't think Moorhead should be getting less percent increase than Becker County when they get Sunday hours. How many hours, what is it? 12 hours a month more, or 12 hours
4 hours more a week.
so 24 hours a month more
during the
where
school
I-
year.
Mr. Chair,
Sorry.
Commissioner Nelson, maybe it's time for a new formula. What do you think the factors, what should the factors be? Usage, population?
I don't know, but I want to start out by saying the budget request is not, the librarians have been underpaid, so there's no way that, I mean, I am part of that recommendation that we went with this dollar amount for increase of the overall. I don't like the formula. I don't think it's fair to Becker County. I always argued this isn't really fair to Becker County because we're being overburdened with how much we're paying compared to Clay County or, our percentage wise, in my opinion.
We were, may I?
Go ahead, yeah.
We did look back at some numbers and because we know that this has been a concern for Becker County. And our finance director did find that when this formula was first put into place many, many, many years ago, the city was paying for 50% and the county was paying for the other 50% of the usage of the Detroit Lakes Public Library. So it started out probably a little higher than some of the other signatories.
Yeah, that's dated, that's way back, I guess.
That is way back.
I look, and this may be the wrong way to perceive it, but I look at $477,000 and I see that we're paying for 3 satellite sites that are open 6 hours a week each. That's hard to swallow. That's tough.
When you look at other counties such as Norman,
Yeah.
and I get like, we probably have more usage, but they have 3 sites also, likely they're receiving the same amount of services for their money, right? So, and they're paying 100 and their proposed for 2026 is 125. So that's $350,000 less than what Becker County is paying for 3 sites for the same amount of hours. So that's where I go. I think I agree. It's a great resource for our county and it's obviously used widely, but we're not getting any more services for what we're paying for. And when you look at the other counties and the services that they're getting the same services as we are. We're just paying way more. So.
I think,
And so much of the formula is based on library card holders. And so you're paying to support your library card holders. You can think of it as supporting the people versus the locations.
But the people aren't getting anything more. They're not getting additional hours for the increase that we're getting. They're not getting additional services. The card holders aren't getting additional services for the money that we're paying. So I agree. We have a lot of card holders and we are providing those services for them, but what additional services are they getting for the large amount of money that the Becker County, because the Becker County residents are paying it, right? It's not us paying it. It's the taxpayers that are paying it. So what additional services are they getting for what they're paying for? That is my thought.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Nelson, would there be capacity at the group to come up with a new formula that is more fair? I mean, we talk about a formula that was probably created how long ago?
Many years ago.
Yeah, then is there anybody left who knows why that formula was created? And is there?
well, how long ago was the 80-10-10 that's just for the increases now, for the
That's for the
ongoing increases. That's not the original formula. So my argument is we got stuck at a high amount early. I mean, then we've been going up ever since. I think, Carrie, you've researched what our minimum
286.
contribution would be.
286, is that right?
According to Minnesota statute, our statutorily required contribution is how much?
Well, you're gonna test my memory.
About
I thought it was 286, but I don't know.
Pretty close.
286-ish.
Has anyone heard about Beltrami, about what they found out on them going down to their minimum? Have you?
I have not heard.
I didn't hear yesterday at MRC what.
Can you tell me again what the 80, so 80% is the library card holders, the number, 10% is property value, what was the other 10%?
Population.
Population,
Yep.
thank you.
And regarding the amount required by statute, the maintenance of effort, that amount was frozen. It's 90% of what counties were paying in 2011. And so if we were to only receive that funding, we would no longer exist.
And I'm not proposing that we go down to
Yeah.
286. That's not at all what I'm proposing. It's just, I think it's just important information for everybody to know is that we are, for one, statutorily required to provide funding for the library, but we are paying, $190,000 more than what we are statutorily required, which is a lot in times are tough right now for counties, so.
Well, what's really kind of disturbing to me is we're having a $40,790 increase, and we have 3 link sites. A link site annually costs about $15,000. $15,000. So we have $45,000 worth of services, and we're paying $477 or that's request. So it's hard to. I mean, if you say, well, we want to increase some, but we think an 8.5% increase is a little bit strong, we're going to reduce that to a 5% increase or a 6% increase, and you cut proportionally, you're cutting 30-40% of our services, and and if that happens, then we just cut it all. You may as well cut it all and not ever go up. Or
Do you have numbers for, we have the 3 link sites and they're open 6 to 7 hours a week. Do we know the numbers of people that come in person and utilize those services, check out books from those link sites, whatever, how?
We do track those numbers. I'm sorry, I don't have those with me, but I could
Okay.
definitely share that with you.
Yeah, I would like to see those numbers.
we should have them by next week before budget.
Yep.
Can you send them to, Liz, can you send them to me?
Yep.
And I just want to be clear, like, I think you provide a great service. Like, I don't,
Sure.
libraries are a wonderful, wonderful service. I use them. Lots of people in Becker County use them. So I think they for sure are something that we need to continue. It's just, it's hard to look at what Becker County is paying compared to.
How many hours a
rest
week
of-
is Barnesville open? Barnesville Library?
Probably 32,
32 hours a week?
Yeah.
How about Hawley?
about the same.
So Clay County has 2 libraries, not including Moorhead, that they're paying 32 hours a week. That Lake Agassiz is paying the salaries of those
Yeah.
32-hour a week. It's just unfathomable to me that we have 3 link sites and we're asked to pay $477. Clay County has 2 libraries and a link site, and they're asking $362. It just doesn't make
That's
sense.
crazy. I'm sorry.
Well,
That's-
doesn't-
And
when you-
again,
when you look
it's
at it that way.
about the card holders and the people who are using the services.
Well,
Then
No, it's not.
why don't we have
I
a
think-
library where there's more card holders?
Why isn't Cormorant a library system that has 32 hours a week?
When
So-
you look at
so I can
where
answer
the
that.
card holders are,
I think I
sorry.
can answer that. Because back in the day, she said with the formula, we were paying for half of the Detroit Lakes Library. So that's where we started at. That's why we're higher. So I don't know how to fix that, but I agree with you. We should not be paying that much more than Clay County because we don't have a
don't have a library
physical
system.
library, yeah.
What do you
2
cut
physical
if
Yeah.
2 years in a row
Yeah.
and the request is 40 and 40? If we say, no, we're having a 0 increase this year, and you cut all 3 of our link sites to nothing, what are you going to cut next year?
I guess we go into Detroit Lakes.
Well,
you
then we'll,
start to cut Detroit Lakes, you don't start to ask Clay to pay more?
It would be a board decision. I can't answer that.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
sorry.
well,
that's
she
not-
put
that's
herself
not
on the
fair,
spot by
yeah.
saying that Detroit Lakes would be full.
Yeah, I just, like I said before, I support libraries. I think they're important. My mother went to that library over there daily and was on the board. But $477,840 is, wow, for 3 link sites. Wow, that hurts.
So I think for you and for Barry, who's on the board, I do think it's a conversation to take back to the board. I'm sure other counties don't want to because they're getting one heck of a deal. So they probably don't want to look at changing up the formula, but I mean, I think it's something that needs to be looked at versus cutting services. You know, looking at a more equitable, maybe 80% of the formula for library card holders is too high if we're not going to be providing services for those library card holders.
Yep.
You know, if we're only going to 80% of the formula is determining the funding, but it's not determining the services. So you're charging us based on the number of card holders, but you're not providing the services to the county based on the number of card holders. So
Well, let's look
So
what,
is there more, so since we have more card holders, is there more librarians here? Is there more?
no, we're getting 6 hours.
So I mean,
Increased
that's,
cost.
And Detroit Lakes as well, because county residents are using the Detroit Lakes Public Library.
yeah.
Well, but
So-
Detroit Lakes is paying
It's paying
271,000
for that.
and paying for the building, right? That you,
Yes.
so what are the numbers for, not including Moorhead, what are the numbers for users in Clay County compared to Becker County? Not including the city of Moorhead and the city of Detroit Lakes users.
I don't know that off the top of my head, but I could.
But I think
Get
that
that
number,
information.
I mean, if that number shows that Clay County has more users than Becker County, then we see it's not fair. If Becker County is higher, then we can justify the 40. But if Clay County's numbers are higher than Becker County's numbers with their 2 libraries and their link sites, when you subtract the residents in Detroit Lakes and the residents of Moorhead, then we have an issue, in my opinion.
And I don't know if we don't have any more employees here to pay, if we just have more people using it, the cost of that building and the cost of those
The
employees.
building is the city's.
the
Yeah,
building,
okay.
yeah, and that's
So-
separate.
Yeah, so whatever it is, this is not a fair way to do this. I'm just.
But I think the
thinking
key
about
here
it.
for me is that number, if Becker County outside of the card holders in city of Detroit Lakes, if Becker County has more people using the library system than Clay County outside the city of Moorhead, then we can justify paying more. But if Clay County's numbers are higher, then it's not fair.
I can
know-
justify paying more if we would have a library in Cormorant that we would be paying for.
We don't have a physical library in Fort Becker. just
Yeah,
Becker
but you can
County.
look at Monoman County. Monoman County doesn't have a library outside of Monoman. I mean, so it's a give and take on it, but I think the formula if Clay County has more users outside of Moorhead than we have outside of DL, then we have a problem. If their usership is higher than what we are, or equal, then then it will show the inequities of usage.
I
Because
mean, they must if they were justifying
But
a library in Holly and a library in Barnesville.
I shouldn't speak without having the data in front of me, but Becker County has more library card holders than Clay County. But I will find those numbers just to be sure.
But I think that's kind of where if you want to agree with us, that's where you'd hang your hat, is that we do have the users, or we do have the usage.
But we don't have to pay for the staff, because we don't have any staff. I mean, we have some, but they have 2 libraries. that have
But that's
staff.
the formula that you're working off from. Those would be numbers, outliners that you would say, this is not right, because that's the formula started off incorrectly, and just adding to it as we move on, if it's incorrect to start with, is only magnifying the issue.
Yep.
I mean, I think the formula needs to consider the services that the county is getting somehow, that we're,
We've been supplementing every other budget is what we are.
All right, so if you can get us that if you can get us all that information.
Sure.
We have a work session next Tuesday for budget, so we can discuss it more there.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So thank you very much for coming in.
Yep, thanks for your time.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Liz.
All right, Carrie, let's move on with, you got 6 minutes, hurry up.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
All right. I had attended several community events. I attended the North Country Trails annual meeting in Frazee and the Project 412 Wave Maker Appreciation event at the Pavilion, as well as the kickoff at probation for the F5 program. So I was busy doing some community events. I also was at the MACA Macrame Conference in Deerwood last week for 3 days. And topics were it was quite heavy on leadership presentations and/or training. They talked quite a bit about the rollout of paid family medical leave. The state was there for the state program from DEED. One interesting point I heard was that they're staffed at 125%. Yeah. And their turnaround for those that they're going to serve, if you recall, we are on a private plan. We're not doing the state plan, is still 2 weeks for turnaround for approval of leaves, and they're staffed at 125%. I found that interesting. We also did a lot of discussions about preliminary levies and legislative priorities. AMC was there giving some updates and asking, and doing some questions about priorities, and they align quite closely with the rural group as well. The technology is at the top of the list for SSIS, mental health beds, and the environmental, so it aligns. I had a meeting, if you recall, we had representatives here from, I believe it was Fox Lake Association, talking about restrictions of wake boats and/or activities. There was some confusion about the process, so I chose to have a meeting with, there was like 3 lake associations there, the DNR was there, Kyle was there, the sheriff also attended for part of that as well. And really it was to talk about what is the process, to clarify, so everybody there understood what the process, because it was a bit confusing about different people and how they understood the process.
Mr. Chair, Carrie, what were the 3 lake associations that were there?
Big Sugar Bush, Fox Lake, and Pickerel. Yep, you are correct.
Good.
So those were the 3 that were there and represented. So we talked through the process, and there was, again, just to reach a consensus of what the process really was. And I walked away from there with the understanding that really the confusing part was who submits the information and the packet that the DNR provides, questions and those things, and at what stage does that go back to the DNR for consideration and then for final back to the board. So again, where the confusion came in is ultimately the responsibility of submission of that packet to the DNR is the county board's responsibility. Now you can have a collaborative effort if you so choose with lake associations or what have you, in collection of the information and such that they're asking for, but ultimately it is up to the board to submit the packet. So that's where the confusion was coming in with the back and forth.
Mr. Chair, then, so we would have to approve, I would suggest that we need to make a motion or decision whether we agree with it or not before we send it to the state.
And that is exactly what I told the group, to collect their information as a collective, come before the board to make sure, and a decision needs to be made of this board whether or not to proceed or not to
Mr.
proceed.
Chair, so you're saying we would decide
Before we
Before
waste
it
the
even-
state's time and resources?
And
Yeah.
anybody's that's collecting the information that's needed.
but
for
you were
it.
talking about process, so
It's all within the process. My suggestion, again, because it's because of the process, you really want to get, if this were to proceed, buy-in from, your local, your townships, your lake associations, et cetera. And they've done some of those steps. However, coming here, again, it got confusing. So my suggestion to the group was to get their information together, come before this board, before anything, and then you can have the discussion and vote whether or not to move it forward to the DNR or not. That's where we,
Mr. Chair, Carrie,
yes,
the Fox Lake guy that was here presenting a couple meetings ago,
yes.
he had said there's one lake in Minnesota that has already went through the process and said no wakeboards on their lake. They must have had to follow a process too. Would it be prudent to reach out to them and see how they?
Well, everybody was at this meeting, including the DNR. So again, all the
Okay,
players
all right.
were at the table, and I purposely structured it that way so everyone could hear the same information.
Okay,
We did it here, no motorized traffic on St. Clair Lake.
okay.
Which is similar. It's
Yeah, it's a surface
use.
restriction. There's you can go on the DNR website and you can look at every lake restriction and lake in the state, and there's a few. Few restrictions on lakes around, not a lot, but there's a few.
Do we know if the three lakes are looking for the same restriction? Are
They are, and what I heard from them is what they would propose, if it gets to that point before the board, is not necessarily banning wake boats, but the activity on these lakes that don't meet that, the depth and the size, et cetera. What was that?
Don't put it in lake surf mode.
Oh, correct. Yeah, basically any of the activities, not necessarily the boat itself. So again, I thought it was a really good and productive meeting, and everybody heard the same information, and we got clarity about what the true process was. And again, as we talked about it, again, everybody walked away with the same information, which was the goal of the meeting. So any other questions about that? So that'll come up in the future.
Did the DNR have anything to say about what they see and have they studied this? Did they give?
They're pretty silent on this issue because it was even, some suggestion was perhaps this issue belongs at a higher level, state, and to evaluate, that came up as far as which lakes are, should not be accommodating wakeboat activity and not, and they're just not taking issue. They're neutral. I'll just say neutral.
That sounds like them. Well,
But
anything
that
important,
topic
they
did
don't-
come up,
yeah,
so.
There's money involved, so they're not gonna say anything, and, they're right in there, pollution control agency and the DNR. It seems like that's the way it all goes.
So another update, our STS crew leader has resigned from that position, and I know we've had some discussion about that. So there's some work being done through Steve's department and forestry that will work on doing the final work before winter, pulling docks and access work that needs to be done before freeze up. So that, and then we'll probably during our work session have some further discussion about structure and, what's needed.
Mr. Chair, organizational structure of all of
One
that.
topic.
Recreation to STS to, okay, well, this is probably a good time to do it then.
To EDA.
What?
To EDA maintenance.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chair, we have to be able to roll this out next spring, and we got to start cutting all the lawns at the accesses and stuff. So, our people are aware that we're down one person and somebody else is going to have to pick up the slack. Okay, all right, very good.
And so with that also, after finance, we had some discussion because as you recall, our STS crew or the leader, as well as if there were available crew from the jail, they also provided some community support and work. So I did reach out, and the sheriff did as well, to those community partners, just letting them know that the service is no longer available because there was some regular usage of that out in the community as well. So they can have some heads up on that and make other arrangements.
What was that, Carrie? What
The
community
food
service?
pantry, fairgrounds,
Okay.
missing a couple.
The museum, the Boys and
Museum.
Girls Club.
Yes, there you go. Those are the four that we reached out to.
And Mr. Chair, I think the community has, in the past, has relied on this STS work group to do a lot of projects.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the STS work group is no longer.
The crew.
The change in the release of some prisoners has made this not viable candidates to do this anymore. And we don't, and the sheriff's is picky on who, you don't want to bring violent criminals into the area doing some of these things. So the number of qualified people that would qualify for STS are not there anymore. So that the program is basically at an end, in my opinion.
And I think those are the discussions that we should have at
Yep.
a work session. You know, the other difficulty that this creates is you have your MRF and your ICWIC crew out there, and you have a state leader, or excuse me, a state crew leader that is working overtime with no backfill. Now, the Sheriff's Department and Steve have worked, you know, providing a correctional officer. But again, the jail staffing right now is down and they're trying to hire. So that's a whole nother area as well, with the intent of, you know, the state with the ICWIC crew, it's required that whomever is going to oversee that crew is trained as a correctional officer or some type of law enforcement training. Because we were looking at other options for supervision of the ICWIC crew, such as, you know, supervisors that were out at the MRF or the transfer station. And I suppose we could get creative and perhaps put them through some correctional officer training. You know, that's been kind of kicked around, but we're going to have to look at options because there is no backup currently for that ICWIC crew for Roger Walter that is still working there. We have started our initial meetings with Paycom and our rollout of our payroll and our HRIS system. That's just, we've got a bunch of meetings on the book, so that will begin. And I think that's all I have for my report. Moving on to Resolution 1A, this is the recommendation from the Finance Committee with regards to the recorder's salary. This is, I believe, the second go-round where the salary has been requested to be negotiated. I've outlined in this resolution what the recommendation from the Finance Committee was, and so I would request a motion on this.
Do we have a motion for 1A?
I'll make a motion to approve 1A.
Do we have a second for 1A? I'll second 1A. Do we have any further discussion? All right, all in favor of approving motion 1A signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, motion carries.
The next topic, and Commissioner Hanson has alluded to this, and I just wanted to keep this on everybody's radar. With going forward, we do have a budget work session next week, and that's out at the highway. So first of all, a reminder for that. However, I think, again, we keep tossing kind of topics into potential further work sessions, so I guess I'm posing it back to this board of how you would like that structured so that people can, either I can schedule them or not, I guess is the question.
Additional sessions or? Well, I think with this year's budget and our levy and our hefty goal of trying to lower it, I do think it's going to take more than one.
Yeah, I do too.
One budget session or work session.
Well, I think there's been some other topics that have come up as well. You know, organization, we have the STS crew, that position, and Parks and Rec, you know, funding or what we want to do or don't want to do with that. We talk off and on about space needs and structure and priorities, and I haven't yet brought back before this board, you know, the capital planning and or budgeting. That's still kind of on hold until we get through some of these. So I think there's numerous topics that have been brought to me.
Yeah, I just made up a quick list here where we need some direction. I mean, I talked a little bit about solid waste. We need some direction. I need to know that you guys are on board with what we're doing because there's some big things in the hopper. But as far as I'm concerned, I think we should do work sessions from now until the end of the year on the off Tuesday because we've got plenty to talk about. We got to get back to those nuisance properties, strategic plan, budget with the levy. I mean, that's probably the priority. Organizational structure, recreation, especially now that we have a resignation, recreation, funding outside entities, space needs. You've talked about that. We talked about that a little bit this morning with the, you know, the sheriff's place that we're renting. So, I mean, I've got enough myself to take us till the end of the year. I'm just looking for direction.
We ain't, I'm not coming in every other Tuesday till the end of the year, especially until the ground freezes for sure. And I agree that we have to have some discussions on this stuff, but I don't know that it's gonna take that long.
Well, let's start with the first one next week.
Yeah.
Can we do that? What do you want to go to 8:15 out at Highway for an hour and a half?
Is it at?
Can we do
is it
that?
at Highway?
I thought we were planning till noon.
Can do that too. I mean, maybe we could get a, do we want it to be one topic or do we want to cover a couple?
I
or?
think you put all topics
I'll
on there.
put all
I've
the
got
topics in,
I've
put
got
them
a
all there.
running list
Yep.
of topics.
And we'll
that
get
you
to
would
what we
like.
get to, and then we'll see what we need to
Because
do after that.
you will touch on a topic and want more information
And a
on it.
lot
Yeah,
overflows into other things.
Yeah,
Okay.
and a lot of it has to do with budgeting.
Okay.
Okay, so I can certainly bring my
8:30?
my list, 8:30, yeah.
So can we say budgeting? And I would like to get into organizational structure too. Is there anybody?
Well, I
anybody
think,
else
I
want-
I think with the organizational structure is going to
I-
be a
I think they
budgeting
go
It's
hand
gonna
in
affect the
conversation.
budget,
Correct.
absolutely, yeah. Correct.
Okay, so those will be the two main topics and they can go sideways too and go. somewhere
And
else.
just to clarify, our off Tuesday, we don't have very many off Tuesdays left where we actually, November, we have Veterans Day and deer hunting. And then December, we have AMC. Many of us will be down at AMC. And then then we're at the end of the year. So, I think,
Well, let's do it and we'll keep planning. I mean,
Yeah.
I think
It's
that's
got
what
many-
I don't disagree.
the
that
best,
we
the
need-
best thing we can do is have one, see
But I
what we
also
get
agree with you.
accomplished and schedule
Okay,
another.
very
I'm
good.
okay with that.
I do,
Mr. Chair,
yeah,
can I back up a little bit on Resolution 1A?
yeah.
I was just a little bit confused on the wordage on the second paragraph.
Let me look at it.
Recorder will receive a COLA for 2026 of 3.5.
I don't want to mix those numbers up, so you get a COLA increase, whatever that dollar amount is, but then it says later that the longevity is included in there, so I think you should have that afterwards.
Just rearrange it, is that what you're?
Well, because if you go off from next year, then what number you're going off from, your 7% include, it's messy
I wonder if for the COLA increase
to that.
and
dollar
the
amount,
anniversary, we have what the base rate is going
Not
to be.
including the.
And then,
longevity.
yeah,
And then what?
Not including the longevity till after the fact,
yep, I think, yeah, I see what you're saying, Barry. So for the 2026 3.5% dollar should be what the base dollar is
not.
before the
not
longevity.
including longevity in that, and
And
then,
same thing with the anniversary step, and then
and then,
the wage increase
Then a
will
12.
Just
include
so it's
a.
clear.
just
then-
because it gets messy, now if you go off from next year's number, does that include longevity or, I mean, it's,
Yeah, and my point in putting in the longevity was just to state that she is eligible for longevity. That was my intent, but
But-
I can certainly clean up the
So,
language.
But
just
but that
have
dollar amount includes the longevity?
the hourly,
Does it?
yes,
I'm
yes,
questioning.
It does.
it does.
It does.
Okay, so remove that and say plus longevity, or add, if
We'll
that's,
follow the longevity
We'll just put it-
schedule or
I think it's
something
just
along that.
clarifying what we've approved. It's just-
Okay.
Mr. Chair, should we rescind this motion and do this over again?
yeah,
So
we need-
that-
Probably.
Because we motion passed already.
It's just a clarification of the,
I think it's the
The
language.
The
I
dollar
don't think-
amount's gonna be the
I
same.
know it is, but it's after we've already,
the thing
Pass
with
it.
Robert's rules is you do what works for you. I mean, there's no, we're all in agreement. It's the same, it's not,
Do we need to,
it's just clarifying how that wordage is. The 7% is, just say it says 7% is included in there, just,
Just put it,
nothing's
Include that.
changing, it's
nothing,
just,
the amount's not changing, we're just gonna add another number
Just to
that
clarify
shows
that.
that. That's the
You're
big
just
one.
clarifying the language,
Yes.
is what I'm hearing.
yeah.
Correct. So I don't think we need another motion, but if we were changing the number,
Yeah,
The
everything's the
amount.
same, it's just
Yeah.
putting the correct
Just
number
making it
there and
clear.
saying it,
Yeah.
and then include 7%.
Okay. All right, are we good?
Don't
with that?
study that book too hard, because we'll be, it's, the first rule of Robert's rules is do what works for your organization. And if you have a friendly amendments,
there it is right there. Rescind it. Okay.
All right, the next item that I have on the agenda is the Resolution 1D. This is for additional purchases of AED machines, the shock heart machines. This has been vetted through, and you sit on the safety committee. This has been vetted through the safety committee, so what we did as a joint effort through the buildings, did an inventory of AED machines and what we have, what we believed we were short. There's some county buildings specifically out. There was a lot of discussion out at the environmental, the campus. You know, the buildings are quite far apart, and I think there weren't enough out there. There isn't one in the shop in Osage. So again, adding up the number and the recommendation from the safety committee to add these additional AEDs for purchase and then installation. There were 2 quotes in the pack, and the recommendation was to go with the one that I have in my resolution. And the reason for that is the main difference in that one is because that particular brand, you don't have to change out the pads between pediatric and adult. It adjusts the shock within. So that was the similar price. And then I believe the one that was recommended as well, there was a discount for ordering, and they were also including the box the mounting box. That's which the maintenance had. This money, I have money in my administrative budget under professional tech services that I had indicated it could come out of that budget. So that is my recommendation.
Mr. Chair, Carrie, did we check into any grants out there to get, this seems like something that's very grantable.
There is some safety grants, and I was asked that question yesterday in finance, and there is I think it's a maximum of $10,000 safety grant, but it's quite competitive. And actually, I sent that if our county would be eligible for 1 grant. I did send that information actually out to Steve Skoog because he had some safety updates within his building after we had the walkthrough. It seemed to be more fitting there versus equipment.
So it seems like with the addition of the AEDs, that when we did the safety walkthrough, that $10,000 would go to meet the other safety
Concerns
needs
that were
addressed or were
came in the
identified.
report, yes. Because you have the information to back that up, and it seemed to be the better data.
Sure.
I should say with the AAD, also Human Services is on board with this as well for a trainer. They have come up with the money out of their budget to have Vanessa over there to become a trainer for the county, to train others on CPR as well as the AED machine. I would expect in the future a policy to come forth specifically to the AEDs once we're getting them installed, because there's been some suggestion or recommendations from the safety committee as well that Narcan should also be within the AED and where the locations of those are as well. But I believe we would want a policy specific to that as well.
Mr. Chair, is that something that's required or necessary?
Well, we have a grant and we have it available, and what was vetted through the safety committee is making it accessible to the public. It's widely known that people are potentially, especially in public, are going to sometime in your lifetime encounter somebody that's overdosing.
Are you
And
talking
it's
about the
happened.
Narcan or the
The
EED?
Narcan.
You're talking Narcan, right?
I was talking Narcan. Isn't that something that is for people who are on drugs?
Yeah.
Overdosing.
So are we talking about our employees?
Or
Yes.
people of the public?
Or people-
Don't we
or the
drug test
public.
our employees?
But we have a grant for it, so I mean, it's there, the money's there for it.
The Narcan is already being,
I think it's more than just our employees, though.
It's the public.
I mean,
in general.
Human Services, somebody
Yeah.
could come in and be overdosing, and it's there. You go over to the landfill, and somebody could be,
So, but then we'll have to train somebody to administer
No,
that
that's-
as well, or is it a pill? I don't,
No.
I think it's nasal spray, isn't it?
it was shots and they moved to nasal spray, but that's probably a bigger discussion. I'm just
Yeah.
bringing that up.
there's not-
That's the
there's
direct.
work session.
Work session.
I don't know that we need a work session for Narcan, but
No, I just preface that because as we identify locations for AEDs, it could potentially serve the locations for Narcan as well. That's the only reason I bring it up.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve 1D.
I'll make a motion.
So motion by Richard, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Phil, do we have any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, right, motion carries.
And the last item that I have on for a reminder, we've talked about the road, the highway road tour. And I did reach out to Jim. You were saying third or fourth potential weekend?
Yeah, come up here, Jim, yeah.
Typically, we hold it the fourth week, so, I mean, any of those days would work in your schedule. I mean, if all those are booked, we can look back into the third week as well.
So the fourth week, you're thinking like the week of the 27th?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Monday morning, I can't be there.
I
You
can't do
can't?
Monday.
Is that what you said?
29th is out Wednesday. We're,
Okay.
28th is 2 for me. So is Friday.
Thursday.
What's the date?
30th?
We got environmental in the morning.
Can change that, can't you?
Or do you want to go right away in the morning, or do you want to go?
Yeah.
Richard, can you change environmental for the third month in a row?
I have Crow Wing Watershed.
The 30th?
I'd like to see
29th.
this road tour in November.
On the 29th?
But I suppose nobody wants that.
No.
I would be fine with
okay
November.
We
I
can
can
look
do
back.
November.
Say
November's
it,
fine
say
for
it.
me.
Okay.
Would
First
November
week
be?
of November is good.
How about
Deer hunting.
Saturday, November 8th?
At 6 a.m.
Well, it can't be Monday or Tuesday, I suppose.
What about, when,
How about
That's deer-
Wednesday?
That's deer
the
hunting
5th?
week all
Talking
week.
about the
It's all
5th or
week,
the
yeah.
12th.
No,
Well, we
I
could
think-
bring rifles.
I believe the
Hey, we could use
opening,
it. We use
opening
the
deer hunting
sheriff's,
is the 8th.
the sheriff's vehicle, we'd have a turret on top,
There we go.
Opening deer hunting is the 8th.
yeah.
So if we would do it the 5th, it's
Well,
before
that's
deer
getting
hunting.
deer hunting ready week.
Getting deer hunting ready.
so the opening is the
The
8th.
5th?
I could do that.
I can do the 5th.
Okay.
Fifth.
5th?
Barry? Okay with that?
What day a week? What day?
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday, okay. Do you want to go right away in the morning?
Yes.
I would
Yeah.
prefer morning.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we'll get,
You mean right away as in 6 or right away as in 8:30?
I was
When it
thinking
gets light out.
8:30. Yeah, when it gets light out.
It might be 8:30.
So you can see. Okay, so 8:30 and,
And maybe that bus will be fixed by then too.
So I haven't been on one of these before, so do we put in what we want to see? Does Jim come up with the agenda?
You have to bring donuts.
Rookie. So are you going to put this together, Carrie? Or
Typically, we see the, roads that we've completed, but if you have ideas, you said we can easily stop over at the
storage facility, but if
and
there's, if there's.
You
additional-
mentioned forest trails, that's out of ways, but if there's something close that you want to see, yeah.
We went to Toad Mountain last year.
Yeah, okay.
The problem is that, we do have a pretty good sized county and you can't do this
Yeah.
in one morning. I mean, you can't go
Yeah, I can't
look
go
at
over.
Lake Park and number 7 and then get out to the trails and, I mean, you just physically can't do it in that time frame. So you kind of
Yeah.
have to highlight where you want to go.
Well, certainly issues that we're going to be dealing with in the next year, I mean, we want to maybe look at those. So, but if
And
we
if you
do
get-
half the county this year and the other half next year, that's fine.
If you have some more ideas by the work session too, it's
Okay.
still flexible. Well,
I'll bring that question up
Okay.
and I can make a list.
Jim, do you have an update on completion of Lake Park?
yeah, they should, they're going to be paving tomorrow, the driveway. There's a few driveway aprons that are the bituminous portion going back into the yard. There's 2
Some dirt piles?
and final cleanup, and then there's 2 water stops and some open holes due to that for concrete work, and that's scheduled for Friday this week. I think pretty much it should be wrapped up, and then we still have some striping to do.
I will say, from what it looked like the week before, it got relatively good for the Pumpkin Fest weekend in Lake Park. But it still wasn't complete. There's still piles of dirt. Catholic Church parking lot entrance wasn't finished. I mean, I think there should be some monies withheld, and for those reasons of the incomplete job by deadlines. So I would ask.
Do we
your
have that in our
committee-
contract?
I'd ask your committee to review that.
for a recommendation.
I don't know if we can, if we signed a contract, but we can
Well,
review it.
If it
If
extends
it's-
past the
If it
contract.
extends past, then we can, so.
If it's in the contract.
Yeah.
That it says
I
that.
think the finish date was September 20 what?
It was the Thursday, but we did extend it based off completion of everything for the Pumpkin Fest when we had a walkthrough with the city over there and what they wanted all completed. And they knew that those driveways were not going to be completed. But the road is essentially, has been open to traffic, which is what determines kind of the completion date of the project.
If it's not complete, it's not complete. It's not complete. There's piles of dirt in the street. I just was through there this week, Friday or Saturday, and there's 6-foot tall pile of dirt in the street still. There's, right coming into town, the sidewalk's got dirt piles on the neighbors' lawns. It's not complete. So I ask you to withhold some funding. And they're gonna pass it on to the sidewalk people, because that's who held everything up.
The concrete contractor, yeah.
They're the ones that delayed it. It was a terrible project. The sidewalk part, the paving went in fast. But I'm asking that we withhold some of the funds.
Okay.
At least a minimal amount. I mean, I'm not saying but it has to be, when they do such a poor job, and they don't meet the requirements, I think there should be something.
Mr. Chair, before we move on, I do have just 2 quick
Yeah.
items.
Okay.
And then, do you want to do a break after that?
Yes.
Okay. I just,
Thanks, Jim.
thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
When I was at the conference last week, they did put in another pitch if there's anybody from this board, and I did send it out to the department heads as well for the leadership training that the AMC is sponsoring. So I said I would bring it back up again to see if there's any additional interest.
Mr.
And the
Chair.
tribal one too, the leadership training for the tribe.
That starts at October 20th, correct?
Yes, the first.
So me and you were doing the leadership training, right?
Yes.
I'm
And
still
maybe
thinking,
Richard.
I'm still thinking about it. I don't know if I have time.
It's, by the way, they did come up with the dates. They're Fridays at noon, I believe.
Noon to 7, isn't it?
No, thanks.
And then they're also going to be offering an additional training, I believe it's in February, nuts and bolts in the boardroom for commissioners specifically. So
I think I did that one. It's the same one they did last year. I think I did that.
was it? Yeah, it's relatively new. I wasn't sure if they did it last year.
I think
or
that's
not.
the one, there was a Zoom one, and I think I did it last year.
So,
I think that's the one we just got emailed a couple days ago.
yeah, potentially.
I think
So
I
I think it was November 5th was one of those training dates, one of those Zoom dates. Maybe not this one, but
yeah.
we just scheduled over it with our
Okay.
road tour, so.
Okay. All right. That is all I have.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute break. So we'll be back at 10, we'll take a 6-minute break, 10:13.
to Becker County, it'll be a loss of $60,000. For the 7 parcels, we will also have to pay 4% interest, so we're recommending the board to approve for us to issue this refund to Minnesota Energy Resources.
And what's the total amount, Mary, with the interest?
I have, with the interest is $62,330.
62,330.
It's total tax.
Including
Yeah,
interest or?
and-
Yes,
yeah,
including
the
interest,
Total
yeah.
tax amount is
Yeah,
59.
59,932.
The interest is 62,330.
so yeah, 62,330 would be the total for the tax court.
So do I have a motion to approve the abatements with the interest for a total of 62,330?
Can you give an example of the parcels of the state? I mean, because the state does this for,
Transmission lines, distribution lines, these are not
Right,
real
but
estate.
I'm just wanting, is it railroad? Is it
Minnesota Energy Resources,
Energy-
these are transmission and distribution lines, power lines.
So when this changed, did the state ever put up a bank? Weren't they talking about putting up a fund for some of these things they made? Or was that just a one-time deal? When we had that tax court, how many years ago was that with, it was the
It was
railroad and we
railroad.
got, I think the state came in and, because it's the
Covered.
state setting this, the state's responsibility, it's not the county.
But we got,
Just 1 year, and then they said next
Well,
year, county year on your
I think
own.
the railroad, I mean, this was massive in the state, and I think they came up and, but
it's
we,
interesting that we have to pay the interest too.
Yes.
It wasn't us.
And the state ordered it through court.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a court
Yeah,
order.
so we have to,
no, we don't have any options, it's just, is there a funding
we
from the
gotta-
state? So,
Not
yeah, I don't
and
know why we have to.
unfortunately,
Other than the top two.
it's the
top two.
school
The top two
districts
are
and
right.
townships lose money on this also.
Which is 68
Exactly.
and 0,
Yeah.
so that's basically what we're approving.
So,
With the, I mean, that's what we have control.
but I just wanted to make it clear or explain it, that this is a state assessed properties, and the state set them, they lost in tax court, and we have to pay the bill, pay the overtaxation back to these entities, whether it's what transmission lines for electricity or pipelines for,
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Nelson, we're not paying it back, we're just not collecting it, correct?
We have
This
to
is-
do a refund because they've already paid. They paid in May.
Oh,
This is a refund.
So they won't pay in October. All right, so we do have a motion to approve the 62,330 for the abatements and the interest.
reluctantly, yes.
So
Second.
motion by Phil, second by Barry. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right,
and
motion
just,
carried.
just to note, we don't have a budget line item for this.
No,
No, we
do
don't.
not.
So, and
That's another thing we should talk about in budgeting too. Work session.
abatements. and-
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
Tiara for Human Resources.
Do you see?
Thank you. Very nice of you.
Mr. Chair, the motion and second also included the
Yes, the two abatements that we had.
abatements that correct values in 26 and the,
68 and 0. Right?
Yep.
Yep.
All set?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. First thing, I just want to remind all of you that we do have our wellness fair next Tuesday, October 14th, and it's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we'd love to see you guys making your rounds through the
We'll
wellness
be
fair.
here.
We'll be here.
That
Talking
highway.
budget.
I was going to say, because
Yeah.
we have the boardroom booked.
Okay, perfect.
That's who did it.
Sorry. I have the boardroom and the third floor.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry. Then the first 3 items that I have in the packet are the 3 memorandums of agreement for the 50-50 split of PFML for the 3 Teamsters unions.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandums of agreements for the 3 unions.
So we have a motion by Erica. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Barry. Do we have any further discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
And the last item that I have is Resolution 10251C. This is the resolution to set the cash in lieu amounts for 2026. So as you can see in the resolution, there are two separate groups of unions that get one cash in lieu, and then another group that does get the additional contribution for their health insurance for EE+1 and family. This started last year, so you did see it last year, but those amounts for the non-union and anyone that just gets the single contribution goes from $734.15 per month to $719.14 per month. And the other groups that get the additional contribution for those health insurances, they're single, or if they waive coverage, goes from $734.15 to $719.14. Or if they do elect the EE+1 or the family coverage, then those amounts go from $704.16 down to $689.13.
Motion to approve 1C.
All right, so we have a motion by Barry. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Erica. Do we have any more discussion? Okay, all.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
So cash in lieu, is that just you taking the money instead of taking the insurance? Is that what that means, basically?
So it's not your traditional cash in lieu. That's what we call it in the county, but really it's an insurance allowance. So it's employees are getting it regardless of if they are taking medical coverage or if they're waiving it altogether. They do still get that insurance allowance amount. So it doesn't change anything. It's just there are those different contributions for those other groups.
Okay, do we have any more discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to Steve in Land Use and Environmental Services.
Barry, that Baylor wasn't in there. We get back.
No.
That was in,
Was it in the
wasn't
consent?
said in there.
Morning.
It's that grant,
Yeah,
There was
go back.
Yeah, we got to pull it out.
but I don't think it was a.
4 items in the
And what do you-
consent agenda.
Yeah, did we put the Baylor in the consent agenda under that waste reduction?
That is.
Okay, that should, we need to rediscuss that or re-pull that.
There was, as part of the application, it wasn't my fault, there's a resolution that the MPCA wants you to submit with it. And basically what it is.
I didn't realize it was part of that.
It just says that the county, if grants awarded, you will go forward with it.
I don't need to see it.
So it was not an approval to purchase
No.
the baler. It was
It's just part of the
to
grant
approve the application, grant application.
But this is he needs a motion to move forward if granted, the grant.
Oh,
My only question is, isn't this just metals?
Pardon me?
Isn't this baling just metals?
It would be, it's for rolling up mattresses, the
What?
box springs.
Yeah. If it's just metal, why don't we just recycle it as metal?
We do, but when we ship out the metal now, you throw this in a trailer and mattresses don't compress much, so you don't get very,
You need more
good
weight
weights.
to it.
Yeah,
It's
so
more
we need to-
efficient if you get weight with it. And
so basically what it is it's a machine that you hook these
I
mattresses.
saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it put a nice little cylinder. I'm just wondering, we don't have a compression truck that would.
No, we
it's
don't.
Nothing.
Bouncy. It needs to be wrapped. It needs to be,
That's what it would do.
Where, when it gets to the place, so you ship it like that, what do they do with it? They
So-
just throw it in a vat to melt it then? or-
No. So when we ship out scrap now, those big gondola trailers, you see that go down the road, we load those up with appliances, scrap metal, mattresses, everything that we take as scraps. Right now, that's how we ship them out. Those get thrown in the bottom of the trailer and we try to put as much as we can on top of it. But there's some redundancy in those, so you don't get good weight on those loads. And that's what this would do, is it would do two things. One is it minimizes how much handling you have, and then you'd get better weights on those trailers as they're going out.
I understand that. I'm just thinking, is this a good option? Or would it be better to get one of those big crushers,
Oh, yeah.
that you watch the videos of that are really cool to watch? If you throw a cylinder and then there's these big drums go in and they shred it into shredded stuff.
They've tried to use the shredders. So that we're really where this goes is it goes to an auto shredder That's where all scrap metal in Minnesota goes, is to the auto shredders, and then they run it through them and they rip it up. It's just much bigger process like you're talking about at either Crow Wing or Northern Metal. You can buy smaller shredders, and what they do is they shred it, but then you get about 10,000 fish hooks that come out of that process. And when they do it that way, they've tried it with other places as far as with mattress springs, trying to shred them, and then you try to recover more, but it doesn't work well unless you take out the metal, or take out the fabric and the foam, like we're doing now.
Right, but we're just ending up with the springs, and
Yep.
you can't put those in one of those big shredders, and that would work better?
We don't have a shredder though, Barry.
Right.
I know.
So we're sending it to the shredder. We're just trying to get more compact, so the transportation costs, we're carrying more, right?
I understand that, I'm asking.
One of those shredders that you're talking about, they run from about $750,000 to about $1 million. We've had them, we've demoed them out at our transfer station. They do work.
They're just way more expensive.
They're very expensive. And you could look for a smaller one maybe, but then they'd be stationary. You wouldn't.
Well, I was just wondering, would it work for everything then, for our stoves, or,
Yeah.
would it? And
There's basically two ways you could do this. You could either get something like this, that it's going to compress that for that unit, or you can get a compactor where you would basically stuff it in there, maybe with appliances, other things too, and then you would try to crush that all together, and then throw that. I
like
mean,
a
that
car crusher?
Yeah, no, not even a car crusher. They make them, they almost look like a roll-off box. And that's one thing that we looked at before. We don't have to apply for this grant. It's not.
Well, I just had the question, I'm
Yeah, no,
just,
that's a good question.
what,
This grant is specifically for the baler. You can't,
We could change it, the grant request, and look at, because I have pricing for compactors as well. We could look at a compactor.
Would they grant us that enough money for a compactor?
Oh, yeah. It would be a little different machine, but we could look up and add that. Just change the device is what you'd be looking at. It would be probably less expensive,
is there a deadline for this grant?
430.
Oh. Well, shoot.
No, I mean, that's a good question, and that's not hard. I could change that. It's just that if you did a compactor, it would probably have to be located outside of the building. You wouldn't put it inside just because of the size of the unit.
I don't know, it just questioned me, you're wrapping this for the next person to unwrap it.
Yeah.
What they do with it, when you wrap it all up like this, it would just go right into the shredder the way it is. We wouldn't change where it's going.
It helps us with transportation
It
costs.
is
It's
a
pretty much it.
transportation issue.
I
And so
get it,
would a
I
crusher,
understand it.
too.
I'm
But I
just
think-
wondering if we're doing, what,
Correct me if, just so I make sure I'm understanding you correctly, Barry, is a compactor we would be able to use it for more things than just mattresses.
yeah, well, that, or, if we can use it for other things, and if it's, I mean, when I look at that, if something happened in one of those wraps, it's gonna bust open pretty, I would think it might have some significant recoil, like a garage door spring, and are they dangerous if they did pop?
I guess I don't really know that
You're compacting it into that, and I only can imagine there's a lot of pressure going out. Something happened.
That's a good point.
I think when they're rolling it, that whole frame then acts as a little more like your twine. I mean, because you bend the frame itself is going to stay compressed. It's the box spring. It's the springs that, if you break that open, they go in every direction. But I think the intent is there that when it does it, the frame.
Well, if we had a compactor, we could crush everything. All the appliances, everything. I mean, maybe that is better. I don't know. Because maybe that would save us even more money on transportation.
I'll have to lean on the committee and Steve's
Yeah.
recommendation, but I just had some questions on it.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Nelson, no, I mean, we didn't consider it compact. I mean, I didn't even think about that, so.
If you wish.
I can meet with Steve afterwards and
We could hold off on that, but the sliding bed thing, that is a good thing. It's not a big amount. your chances of getting approved maybe would go up with a smaller amount, and we just had submit it just for the sliding bed part, and then come back. There's not a grant right now, but these grant rounds do come around quite frequently through the Greater Minnesota Solid Waste.
I'm fine with moving forward however you want. I just,
Mr. Chair, Steve, do you think a compactor would be a wiser use of this grant application,
You know,
or?
when we originally put together the MRF expansion, that's what we were looking at originally.
It's a
was
compactor.
a compactor.
So would it be all right if we change this to a compactor instead of
It
the
would just
baler?
change the amount, yeah. And I'd have to make a phone call to get a price for one. That's not a problem.
Well, you got to have it in by 4:30 though, right?
we could make a
That's-
motion. We could.
We can make a motion to do that now.
I
Have
could do
the
that.
committee or Carrie sign off.
Would the compactor be more useful and more,
It's more versatile,
yeah?
but it doesn't tie them up quite as tight as you would with something like this as far as the box springs themselves.
But you tie up more things. You would
You
compact
could,
more.
you could make it more versatile. That's correct.
And you could, so the bigger items you could smash them down to wash or dry. I mean, those larger appliances, you could get compact, so they would weigh more per square foot than,
That's true. Yeah.
so
So we might even save
you
more.
wouldn't gain
money.
as much for the box springs, but you'd gain more
More
from
from the
other
other
The other
things.
things.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Varberg, is that okay with you? Steve-
It's really up to him, because
Yeah.
we didn't talk about a compactor, but
We didn't.
I don't have a problem if that's whatever works for you, Steve.
Well, we can make a motion. How are we gonna move?
So we could
forward?
make a motion
Do we
to-
have, do we have to
We'd
do
have to
anything with
amend.
what we've already approved?
You
Only-
need this,
This
This
is
also.
what you really need.
Okay,
I need a resolution number for that, because this does not say, there's not a dollar amount or anything. It just says that if we're awarded a
226.1E.
grant,
1E?
we'll.
Okay, I will move,
just, Mr. Chair. So this was actually in our consent agenda. Now we're going back to Robert's rules. Now we're changing things, and it was approved in our consent agenda, so
Yes.
we might, on this one, we might want to rescind
We need to,
rescind the
Rescind the-
MPCA application.
and
Yeah.
then change it, or amend it. We can amend
we can
it
amend it. We can amend it.
to a previously.
So we
We're not
can,
going to wait for you to read that book.
well, I got the page.
so we can amend the consent agenda motion to add
To include.
this resolution.
To include this resolution with the stipulation that it would be either a
Compactor.
compact or.
Amend, yep.
So, and then the people so Barry, you made the amendment, you made the motion for the consent agenda, and Erica, you,
I don't think that matters. I think now we make a motion, amendment to the,
okay.
Motion.
I make an amendment to the consent agenda motion. Correct?
No, we did all of those, we did all 9 of those together.
Yeah. We're going to add this, we're amending it to add this.
Well, we're only
resolution to the
amending
consent.
one item of the consent
But-
agenda.
consent agendas are dumb.
What my understanding would be that we're amending this motion to go into the consent agenda, with the consent agenda. Amending to put this motion in there. So we're actually, I mean, we
Well,
could,
it's already in.
How about if we amend the consent agenda to remove the 2026 MPCA grant application, and then we do a separate motion
okay,
for the MPCA grant?
all right. So
Is that a motion?
I will, yes.
we have
I
a
don't remember
motion,
what I
we have a
said.
motion to remove the.
To amend the consent agenda.
To amend the
Remove.
consent agenda to
You
remove,
can't make a motion to remove it. You've already approved it, so you have to rescind that.
we have to rescind the consent agenda
You have to
motion.
rescind
Yeah,
that
okay.
item.
I rescind the consent agenda motion. Item
Or
4,
The MPCA application grant.
the MPCA grant application.
Which is number
9.
Okay, so we have a motion to rescind, to rescind the,
Is it
What's your-
rescind or is it,
is it
or is it
Rescind and remove is the same.
no, but if there's another term, but
Break out the book.
Why don't we
I
just,
would make a motion to rescind the entire
consent agenda, that's what I was going to suggest.
Well, that is what I said.
Okay, then.
You guys told me I was
I'll
wrong.
second that.
Okay, so we have a motion to rescind the consent agenda by
Accepting the
Erica.
consent agenda, yep.
And then we redo the consent agenda.
Yeah, then we
Take
we
number
have a
9
second,
out.
so we're rescinding the consent agenda. We have a motion second. Do we have any more discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, now we need to.
Now we will take number 9 off
Out
the
of the
consent
consent agenda.
agenda.
So do we have a motion? So we have a
I don't think we
motion
need a
to
motion
approve
to
the
remove
consent
it.
agenda and removing number 9.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, removing number 9.
So do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so any more discussion?
What's your motion now?
So we are
approve
making
the
a motion
consent
to
agenda.
then accept the consent agenda and remove number 9.
Remove number 9.
Okay.
And then we have a motion by Erica and a second by Phil. So any more discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
All right, now we're back to Steve.
Now we're back to the MPCA.
We have number
grant
9.
application.
We're reconsidering item 9 now.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's
I think that's the right way.
How it works best for our,
So
No, I think that's-
just to be clear, the motion, I'm just reading up, you move to rescind the motion to approve the
The
consent
consent
agenda.
agenda.
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
yep. And then
And then we.
We remove
accepted
number 9 and-
1
Then
through
we,
8.
then we accept the consent agenda by
1 through 8.
removing number 9.
Separate.
So now back to 1E.
Yes.
Yep.
Are we approving it based off of the baler or based off a compactor?
Doesn't matter, we just have
Or
to do
we
this
just-
to the MPCA, and then we can figure that out before 4:30.
Yep.
And you'll trust
So maybe you want to put that in your motion.
your
Yes.
judgment to.
Motion to approve, I'll make a motion to approve 1E, the 2026 MPCA grant application to include as listed, or a baler if the committee deems more appropriate with the appropriate dollar amount for that baler.
Or compactor?
Or
That's
compact.
in the motion, that's in the grant application already, so I just added the option to right.
Include the compactor?
Compactor, not the baler.
alternate compactor.
Yep.
Yep.
So we have a motion by Barry. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Barry, second by Phil. Do we have any further discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And just to be clear, that with the grant application, it should be, well, the motion included this
Yes.
acceptance if awarded and the appropriate, there's kind of two things,
The appropriate item.
the items to be
Mm-hmm.
applied for and this motion to accept if we are awarded.
That's right.
And also you added signed off by Carrie too.
I didn't add that.
Didn't you? I thought you did.
Committee.
Committee, okay.
Mr. Chair, Steve, what do these grants typically, are these 50/50, 75/25?
It's 75/25. It requires a 25% local match.
We're 25, okay. Okay.
The next thing is Resolution 1025-1B. There is a recommendation in finance to reduce the proposed rate per point for the solid waste assessment from 13.5 to 13.
No. We need to,
That's what I'm saying. There's,
yeah, we moved it down to 13.
so there, but you.
From 12 to 13, though.
Correct.
Okay.
But the resolution says
The resolution is
1350.
13
Right,
and a half.
13.5, so we need to amend that or fix that.
We'll just change it when we make the resolution, we'll just.
So I'll move to approve Resolution 1025-1B with the amendment of changing from $12 per point to $13 per point instead of $13.50 per point.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have motion by Phil, second by Richard. Do we have any more discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
The solid waste strategic planning survey.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that, and
So how do I bring that forward?
Can you just put a copy in our mailbox, each of our mailboxes?
it's
Or-
in the,
It's in the board.
it's in the.
I can give you a
it's in
hard
the
copy
board
too.
packet. Do you want a hard copy?
Yes,
Well,
we
to
can.
fill out.
To fill out, we need a
Or,
hard copy.
or just email me a hard copy separate, so then it's proper formatting, otherwise I split pages here, I think.
Yeah,
That'd be
Well, no,
good.
I guess I
Or
can do it.
if you could put a hard copy in, I don't I don't have a printer that works well.
Do you have hard copies with you, Steve?
I got two of them right here.
Because
Or did we get one yesterday?
It's in your.
it's in the packet.
Thanks, Peggy.
Peggy will do it for us. Perfect.
Okay, and then on that, how soon can I get them back?
We
When
can,
do you need them by?
Well, they've already,
4:30?
they've already kind of went
Brenda,
out.
I'll do the check marks anyway.
So what they're doing, they're using that to provide guidance on, or to put proposals forward on how they want to look at alternative structures on how they're going to handle demolition materials in the future. So you'd go from ranges of formality, considering a district, solid waste district, or joint powers, or each county acting on their own, and then where you might locate future investments. So that's what that's.
So as far as, so Steve and I and Richard, we had this conversation. So as far as when you need it back, as soon as possible, they wanted Steve and us to kind of fill it out and send it back. I said, no, this is a bigger issue. This is strategic planning, future planning for the county. This is a much bigger thing. That's why I wanted you guys to all be aware of this. This is important stuff. If it comes down to it, and it will. So that's why we just recommended you guys all look at it, so you're not surprised when we come to a vote next year on something like this. So that's why I suggested that we bring it to the whole board, and that's why Steve put it on this board session. So they've already collected the information from the other counties. So thank you for filling it out.
all right. So thanks, Steve. We'll do
Anything
that.
else?
Nope.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Let's go to planning and zoning. Kyle.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. We have Planning Commission recommendations for your consideration from September 24th. The first being a request for CUP for cannabis cultivation, manufacture, and wholesale with a recommendation to approve.
Hold on a second, let me find it.
So first application for cannabis that we had 0 opposition.
And this applicant had already been approved. He already had his license through the state, right?
Preliminary, yep.
Yeah, preliminary. He'd already been
Yep.
chosen or
Pending.
approved or
Yep.
whatever, the first steps.
Sure.
Now he'll have to go back, but yeah, there was no opposition. It was actually a short application, so I will make a motion to approve the application or go along with the, concur with the planning and
So we
planning
have
commission.
we have a motion by Erica. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Barry. Do we have any discussion?
How big a tract is this?
Of land?
Yeah.
I thought it was 40.
40, I thought it was it 40 or I thought it was,
I can tell you in 1 second. I'm
I
trying
think
to
it
connect
was.
to the internet. It's fairly good size, but
I can look at my,
I got it here. 55.
55. So there's no issues with setback stuff and neighbors, which would be easy to figure that out.
Question. Call a question.
There's no issues with setbacks.
No, we won't. We discussed that with them.
Okay. Neighbors. Okay. All right, so do we have any more discussion? So all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
I'm opposed.
Opposed? Phil, okay.
Me.
All right, motion carries.
Second item was a request for a private cemetery, a recommendation to approve. I would just suggest that it's conditioned that the individual plat the property, which he's very aware of, but that he has to do that. That's by
but that's state
statute.
statute, yeah.
Yeah.
And recorded.
Yes.
Motion to concur with those stipulations.
Second,
Okay, so we have a motion by Barry. Do we have a second by Erica? Do we have any discussion?
Just Mr. Chair, I had no clue that you could even do this. Is this something, if anybody comes in, we have to approve it, or we're going to approve it, or?
We've
It's
approved
his land, it's
one or
his-
two in the
It
past.
is? Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it's just shocking to me that that's possible. I didn't know that. And, okay, nobody has,
Yeah,
I guess,
to me, it's going to reduce if your kids or grandkids ever go to sell it, it's going to reduce the value of your property.
They can
but
remove it.
They
Maybe
don't.
somebody wants a cemetery. Some people are
Hey,
strange.
it's land rights. I guess it's your land. You can do whatever you want with it, I guess.
You never know.
that's true.
Hey,
Well, they can remove it and change, and
Yeah.
there was a cemetery across from, down by the pit 611, and that church is no longer, and they basically just took hallowed ground. I mean, they couldn't even find some of the bone, there was nothing left in some of the cases, but they were markers.
And they dug them up?
St. Peter's sold the lot, and now someone's building a house
I
there.
don't know, I would want to live there.
No, maybe not.
All right.
All right, so
stuff, but
we have a motion and a second. Do we have any more discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
The second item I have for your consideration is a memorandum of understanding between Becker County and Pelican River Watershed. Would replace the previously entered in agreement in 2024, basically a shoreline management program. This is happening due to the fact that they changed some of their rules in March. So basically, what this is Becker County will be responsible for shoreland alterations, I guess within the shore impact zone or bluff impact zones, where previously the watershed was in charge of that. We're going to kind of jointly manage stormwater, just depending on case by case. If it's commercial or exceeds 25% and a certain amount of square footage on the lot, then the watershed will be involved. Otherwise, for just residential impervious surface coverages, the county will still be involved. Then there was some surface drainage projects that they'll be in charge of, and public drainage. This agreement would be permanent unless terminated by both parties. Brian has seen it, didn't have any concerns. So,
Mr. Chair, Kyle, so you're okay with this agreement the way it
Yeah.
is now? Is this going to be, do you anticipate as BMPs change and stuff, that this will be a malleable document? Not rescind it, I mean, just like you work with it, if there's issues, you'd change it? If you,
absolutely.
okay.
And so far, I mean, this summer, I mean, a lot of people were concerned about workload and things of that nature, and that really didn't change it.
Hasn't been an issue?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
All right, do we have a motion
I'll
to,
move to approve the permitting memorandum of understanding between the Pelican River watershed and the county.
so do we have a motion by Phil, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Barry, do we have any more discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Mr. Chair, just a couple of questions, as long as I got Kyle here. Blighted properties, where are we at with working on that? What's happening there?
I sent, I believe, 3 of the properties to Brian. He's going to follow up with them with a letter. If there's no action there, then he'll proceed through the courts.
Okay,
So that would be Stewart property on, I call it Roller Coaster Road, but it's 335th Avenue.
okay,
The Brown property in Commissioner Jepson's district, and then,
Brandy?
yes.
Okay. The tech panel for retaining walls, where are we at with that? I was gone, we were gonna reschedule.
Yeah, I haven't did that
Okay.
yet. I can
get
get
on
with you
that.
and,
I noticed the gravel mine out by Cormorant. I noticed that there's some roads going in out there. Did the permit start already? Because we lowered it from 5 years to 3 years. Is the permit going, or does that only start when they start removing gravel?
Right, so they got a subdivision, a preliminary approval from Lake Eunice Township in August. So all the work that's being done out there right now is incidental to that subdivision only. They've not begun mining or,
To the road development.
yes,
So the permit that we issued, nothing has happened on that. Yeah, so in that begins once they start removing gravel.
Right.
So just because they're doing work out there doesn't mean that permit has started.
no, it's
Okay.
not, that hasn't commenced.
Okay. One question that just happened in our meeting this morning. Do we have a policy on VRBOs
Yes.
from the county? We do?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep,
okay,
there's a permit required, annual.
okay. And then the last thing. District 1 Planning and Zoning, we need a new planning and zoning coordinator. That's being applied for. Do you have any input into that, or does that?
Nope, that's all me.
Okay, that's you, okay.
I mean, it's not all
It's
me.
your district, so you-
But it's.
Let me
cer-
rephrase
Yeah.
that. I make a recommendation, and then the board can
because
choose
it's
to.
your district?
Mhm.
Okay, got it, okay.
So there, you didn't make an appointment yet?
No.
No?
So is there anything else for the good of the order? All right, thanks, Cal. We
Thank
are
you.
adjourned.
We need to get copies of that. If we're gonna fill them out and remember it, we better do it right now.